Hello, sweet friends. I am so happy to see you again. Today we're going to be finishing up our MagicTree house book, book 21, Civil War on Sunday. So we have chapters 9 and 10. Chapter 9, Don't Give Up. Annie, said Jack. Over here, she called. Jack saw two figures standing in the twilight. He walked over to Annie and Clara. They all stared in the direction of the distant battlefield. Bright lights flashed against the dark blue horizon, cannon shells exploding. Every time you see a flash, you know a shell may have taken a life or many lives, said Clara. That's awful, said Annie. Yes, it is, said Clara. A whole world can vanish in that flash. All a young man's joys and sorrows, all his memories. This is a cruel war, said Annie. All wars are cruel, said Clara Barton. People feel they must fight for causes they believe in, but they soon discover that war is not about glory and fame. It's about misery and terrible pain and sadness. It makes me miss my mom and dad, said Annie. It makes me really miss them. Annie sounded tired and homesick. Finally, she had lost her cheerfulness. I think it's time for you two to go home, said Clara. Jack thought of all the wounded men who needed food and water and kindness and comfort. No, said Jack, we have to stay. We can't give up. That's on the list. Don't give up. Jack pulled out their list to show Clara Barton. Oh, yes, she said, nodding. I see one of my nurses has written down the things I often say. Let me add one thing more. Do not forget the ones who love you. Jack heaved a big sigh. He was homesick, too. Can we keep the list? He asked. Of course, said Clara. You don't have to work in a hospital to follow my words. They work in all life, no matter where you go. Thanks, said Jack. So here we've got a picture of Jack and Clara Barton and Annie. My thanks to both of you, said Clara Barton. You were great helpers. You were a great teacher, said Annie. Goodbye, said Clara Barton. Be very careful going home. We will, said Jack and Annie. Bye. The sun was setting as they walked out of camp. The boom of cannon sounded in the distance. Soldiers sang a song around a campfire. We're tenting tonight on the old campground. Give us a song to cheer our weary hearts, a song of home and friends we love so dear. Jack and Annie walked through the darkening field. By the time they reached the woods, the stars were out. They climbed up the rope ladder to the treehouse. Annie grabbed the Pennsylvania book. Wait, said Jack. He looked out the window. He couldn't see anything below, but the soldier's song still carried through the warm, starry night. Many are the hearts that are weary tonight, wishing for the war to cease. As Jack listened, he thought of Clara Barton, the elderly slave, the young Confederate soldier, and John, the drummer boy. War is not a game, Jack said softly. It is definitely not a game. Many are the hearts looking for the right to see the dawn of peace. The song ended. The cannon fire stopped. The night was quiet except for the croaking of frogs. Ready? Annie whispered. Ready, said Jack. I really wish we could go home, Annie said, pointing to the picture of the Frog Creek woods. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. All together. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 10. Home Sweet Home. There was a booming in the distance. Jack opened his eyes and caught his breath. Is that cannon fire? He wondered. Are we still back in the Civil War? We're home, said Annie. Home sweet home. Oh, man, Jack whispered. They were home. They were back in the Frog Creek woods. They were wearing their own comfortable clothes again. The cannon fire was really only thunder. At that moment, Jack loved the thunder. Raindrops tapped against the treehouse. We better hurry, said Jack. Wait, leave the list in the treehouse, said Annie. It's the first special writing for Morgan's library. Something to follow. Jack took the list of Clara Barton's rules out of his pack. He put it on the floor next to Morgan's letter. I wonder how that list will help save Camelot, he said. I don't know, said Annie. But you know what's weird about getting that list? I think we could have just taken it home when we first got it. When we had to live it, we had to live it first, Sorry. Jack nodded. Annie was completely right, he thought. He picked up his backpack. Wait, I see another note, said Annie. She picked up a piece of paper off the treehouse floor. On it was written, "Come back on Wednesday." I guess that's when Morgan wants us to look for the next special writing, said Annie. That's in 3 days, said Jack. Let's go home and rest. He started down the rope ladder. Annie followed. When they stepped out onto the ground, the rain began to pour down. Run, said Jack. They ran through the Frog Creek woods, then down their street. They ran to their porch and dashed into their dry, cozy house. They found their parents reading in the living room. Mom, Dad, Annie cried. We're so glad to see you. Well, we're glad to see you too, their dad said, sounding a little puzzled. Go put on dry clothes, said their mom. Jack and Annie started up to their rooms. Halfway up the stairs, Jack stopped. Oh, I have a question, he called to his parents. Did anyone in our family fight in the Civil War? Their dad looked surprised. Yes, he said. One of your great-great-great-grandfathers was a drummer boy. Oh, man, Jack whispered. What was his name, Dad? Asked Annie. John, their dad said. Jack and Annie gasped. And what happened to John? Jack asked. Was he hurt in the war? No. He grew up to be a school teacher, said their mom. He had 5 children. Jack and Annie whooped with joy. That's great news, said Annie. Really great news, said Jack. Thanks for telling us. Sure, their dad smiled, though he looked puzzled again. As Jack hurried up to his room, some words from the Civil War song rang through his mind. Give us a song to cheer our weary hearts, a song of home. And then there's another picture of John, the drummer boy, who I think turns out is Jack and Annie's great-great-great-grandfather. All right, so our next book is going to be Magic Treehouse book number 22, Revolutionary War, on Wednesday. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. So thank you so much for reading Magic Treehouse book number 21, Civil War, on Sunday with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you for book number 22. All right, I love all of you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.